In 2015, the World Health Organization deemed glyphosate a probable carcinogen, linking it to cancer and other diseases. The Government of Canada deems glyphosate safe since only small amounts are in our food. Of the available research, many studies are funded by big ag companies like Monsanto. Other research is showing that glyphosate is harmful.
It's insidious and it's cumulative, so it goes into all your tissues and gets into your proteins. This is what I firmly believe this now. It's still sort of a theory and people are pushing back on it, but I think it's the way that you can explain all the diseases. There's so many neurological and autoimmune diseases that are going up dramatically these days, exactly in step with the dramatic rise in the use of glyphosate.
Glyphosate use is actually increasing as well. So I think probably between 2005 to 2011, we know that the use of glyphosate in Canada tripled.
Canada is not too far behind the U.S. We're both sort of really 1 and 2. I mean, we're very fond of glyphosate. The U.S. is probably the most highest consumer of glyphosate in the world, and we have one of the highest rates of autism and Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's is going up dramatically in the same pattern that autism is going up. Both of those, I think, are being caused by the chronic exposure to glyphosate. It accumulates in your proteins throughout your body, and depending on your genetics, certain things are going to happen to different things to different people, but everybody's going to get sick.
So let me ask you this. After doing all this research and continuing to, how do you live your life in this world?
I know. I mean, that is an excellent question. I don't have a good answer. I get depressed a lot, and my husband tries to pull me out. He keeps telling me, you have to be hopeful. We're going to fix this. I'm very frustrated because politically it seems impossible to reach anybody. It's very frustrating.
I understand glyphosate is widely used across agricultural production. So with a long-term kind of use, what kind of effect does it have on the environment?
So it actually doesn't have that great a potential to be released into the environment.
Glyphosate, that's going to go in and you're trying to take out competition, right, for your crop to grow. You're going to have direct effects, so the glyphosate is going to change, it's going to hit the biota, whether it's the fungi, the bacteria, the springtails, the mites, and potentially it just kills them, right? Just straight away, bad, done.
There's just so much conflicting information about everything, and you'll have one scientist say that there's no adverse effects to any living system by dumping a bunch of chemicals into the food system, and you'll have one scientist say that there are. And really, I don't know, you just have to for me, I just choose what feels best, and I know that life begets life, right?
The most important for me personally is talking about farm worker health, because this is the population, it's farm workers and it's their families and their communities that tend to be exposed to toxic pesticides at much higher levels.
Well, my oldest son was born with a cleft lip and palate. He was born in March, and the nurses in the hospital told us that all cleft babies are born in March in Lethbridge, or 90% of them. And 95% of them are from farm families. Baby was growing in the mother's womb that springtime. So my connection is that it's herbicide poisoning.
We have extended members in the family who had health issues that did consume conventional foods and obviously GMOs. But once they transferred over to the organic food sector, they didn't see those adverse effects. So I have personally seen the benefits of that. Now, I'm not a scientist. I can't prove, I don't have that science behind me, but in my opinion, I believe it is a healthier means of consuming food.
One of the few long-term studies of ongoing glyphosate exposure shows that rats suffered tumors, kidney disease, and early death. Earlier this year, an epidemic hit Guatemalan farm workers, and there may be a connection.
They eat the sugarcane as they're harvesting it. So they're eating the sugarcane that's loaded with glyphosate. And they're also, of course, breathing it from the fumes. This glyphosate is an amino acid. And this is one of the things that makes it very, very toxic, because it takes advantage of a system that's already in place for the body in managing amino acids. So when you breathe it, it goes right into your brain from your nose, because your cells in your nose actively take it up as an amino acid.